Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's ugly news, we're going to be taking a look at an influencer event that literally divided the internet, a dodgy derm of the week, and our makeup wipes finally getting the ban they deserve. But the day has come, potentially, that influencers have been dreading. Remember ages ago I created a video about AI influencers, computer-generated influencers, these people who didn't exist, who were advertising products. They were advertising makeup, clothing, food, and reviewing these products. And we talked about how maybe this is where the influencer space is going. It's cheaper for brands to use a fake influencer. It's easier for brands to have an in-house influencer to make them say and do whatever they want. And we were like, is this where the internet is going? Is this where influencering is going? But we were like, this will never happen. But it has kind of started to happen in the most scary and subtle way. Arcade AI is aiming to make influencer marketing a lot more affordable for brands by using AI-generated UGC content creators. So what is UGC, first of all, because I know a lot of people haven't heard of that term. It's kind of a type of influencer, but also not really. Buffer described this as user-generated content, also known as UGC. They describe it as any piece of media created by a regular person to help a brand sell a product or a service. Traditionally, UGC content created from making organic content made without any influence from the brand, without the brand sending the influencer or anything. So these people take it upon themselves to buy a product, advertise it, and then try and sell that advert to the brand. Buffer say the most popular types of UGC content that you may have seen on social media is testimonials, how-to guides, unboxing, reviews, and demonstrations. However, nowadays, just like influencers, brands will reach out to UGC creators to create a piece of content for them, advertising their product. But they are different to influencers. And this isn't in a disrespectful way, but UGC creators, it's not about the person. The brand isn't paying for them as a personality or as a face. They are paying simply for a piece of content that they can share, an advert that they can share. But like the model in the Colgate advert kind of thing. Whereas with influencers, a brand is paying a lot more because not only are they paying for your face, you as a person, but they're paying for your engagement, your audience, and the trust that your audience has in you. Now, UGC creators are known amongst brands for being an affordable way to get a really good piece of engaging content to advertise their brand. UGC creators put a lot of effort into what they do. They're great at hitting all the points that the brands need them to hit in order to advertise their product properly. And all this is very, very affordable compared to your average influencer. But Arcade AI are making it even cheaper to get some UGC created content in a really controversial way. Watch this.
So let me get this straight. You guys are telling me that when you're out of the house for hours, you're comfortable walking around with all that stanky body odor that's been building up on you all day? What's even crazier is that some of you are applying deodorant on top of that odor, which is honestly probably making it worse. Let me tell you what I do. It's a little hygiene hack. My friend told me about these cloths from Get Dirty. They were originally formulated for firefighters to remove carcinogens off their skin, which means these wipes don't play games like other wipes on the market. They are antibacterial and actually lift and remove sweat, dirt, and odors, making these the one and only total refresh, shower on the go solution. After you use these, your skin will have a soapy, clean smell. You will instantly feel—
So what you just saw, you may have guessed it, wasn't real. That was AI. Well, technically, that person does exist. They are what Arcade AI refers to as AI models. So this is a real person who has given consent for their features to be used, edited, their voice to be used and edited in order to create UGC content. I don't think I need to say content after UGC. User-generated content. That's like saying you only YOLO once. So let me explain how this works and how easy it is for a brand to create this kind of content. So first of all, you write your script. So whatever you're advertising, you write the script for that as if it's somebody reviewing the product. Then you choose an actor from their portfolio, and there's a decent selection as far as numbers go. And as I mentioned, these are people who have given permission for their full likeness to be used for this program. You then click done or whatever, and then within as little as 2 minutes, you have a video of what appears to be a normal, everyday, average person talking about your product, reviewing it, advertising a sale, talking about the brand's history, whatever you want that person to say. It's going to look like they're saying it organically without even realizing.
Let me show you how you can create an AI UGC with ARCADS. So here's our dashboard. Start with writing your script. You can write it yourself, transcribe it from existing video, or browse our templates. I have already prepared my script, so I will paste it now. The next step is to choose an actor you like. There are 40+ options available. For example, you can choose me. Oh, I forgot to mention, I am also AI generated. Once you've chosen your actors, it will take up to only 2 minutes for the video to be ready.
They've been used to advertise mobile games, alcohol, fucking Tinder. AI seems to have advanced so quickly, even from the last time we talked about, which was what, like 6 months ago? It's kind of scary to think that what's it gonna look like in another 6 months? Scary, but also a little bit interesting. I do think this is kind of sad because I do think this is good enough to take the place of what some UGC creators do. And even though we mentioned that UGC isn't used, I don't know how to say it, UGC creators aren't used for, I guess, their personality as far as like being a personality, you're still missing that depth of who someone is. It's still that vibe of like something's not right in this video. Will it ever replace influencers? Honestly, I don't think so. This is a video from Mr. Paid Social on TikTok, and he explains how you can spot AI created content, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it.
So let me get this straight. You guys are telling me that when you're out of the house for hours, you're comfortable walking around with all that stanky body odor that's been building up on you all day? What's even crazier is that some of you are applying deodorant on top of that odor. Let me tell you what I do. It's a little hygiene hack. My friend told me about these cloths from Get Dirty.
All right, a lot of people are asking how they could tell that that video was AI generated and not a real person. There's a couple big tells here, starting with the mouth. It's kind of like not really fully realistic. It's kind of moving around too much. There's a lot of like side to side. Next is the eyes. The eyes are too big when they shouldn't be. They're not always reflecting exactly how a normal person might react when they say things. Third is the cadence, how she speaks, how the words between sentences flow. There's sometimes these weird pauses that you wouldn't normally say. And then more than anything, there's just the vibe. There's the totality of the video where you can just feel that it's not real.
So eye and hand movements that don't match the mood or the words that are being said, odd pauses, weird mouth movements, there's something very impersonal about this person. So whilst this may work to advertise a mobile game, Tinder, for influencers you need that personality, that realism to be able to actually connect with the audience. It'll be scary when AI can do like live streams, for example, which the day will come. But don't worry, I know you were scared. Us influencers are safe yet again. I know you were all worried for our well-being. But what about the influencers? Oh my god, it's time. Oh, this is non-spawn. Just using this. This is the Ulla Henriksen Pout Preserve Peptide Lip Treatment. It's really, really nice. The MUA Makeup Academy ones are better at like £2. But that was really nice. It's time for Dodgy Dermatologist of the Week. Do you remember Dr. Brooke Jeffy? It's her again. Sephora Kids seem to have been a trend for a while. Not really a trend, but you know, people's interest was peaked and now we're all kind of a bit like, oh, you know, what happens. Dove have done a great, was it Dove? I think Dove have done a great campaign surrounding this about just letting kids be kids. We still have 11-year-olds out here on TikTok doing get ready with me's, which they shouldn't be allowed on TikTok. But attention seemed to have swayed in a different direction, and in my opinion, the kind of right direction. However, this video popped up on my TikTok recently featuring a dermatologist, Dr. Brooke Jeffy, who has really taken to creating content specifically about kids using skincare. And honestly, it's nice to hear a dermatologist saying why kids don't need it. But Dr. Brooke Jeffy never seems to hit the nail on the head with any of her content. For example, she presumed this Glow Recipe toner was an aggressive exfoliant when it's actually made with some of the most gentle exfoliants on the market. She doesn't seem to quite understand how peptides work. You know, ingredients really isn't a dermatology's area of expertise 99% of the time. But as I mentioned, she has taken to creating content specifically around Sephora Kids. Let's take a look at this video of hers that went viral-ish.
Hey guys, let's do a full face of Glow Recipe. Okay, talking about Glow Recipe. Pretty babies! I am so excited. We're gonna do every single product in here, just Glow Recipe.
Shame on you, Glow Recipe. Guys, just because this kit is called Fruit Babies does not mean it is safe for kids. This kiddo has beautiful, clear, smooth, healthy skin like that of a baby, but these babies are going to tear that up.
So looking at the comments, these are the main points here that everyone's kind of a bit over this approach. Number one, why shame on Glow Recipe? Glow Recipe, it didn't pop this in the child's hand. Glow Recipe wasn't in the shop with them when the child bought this, physically handing it to them. Glow Recipe do not say on their packaging for children. Just because the brand uses the words babies or minis, I do not think they are targeting babies or minis. You wouldn't give baby sham to a kid. You wouldn't show your kid Bad Baby, would you? Like, why would you, just because there's baby in the name? That doesn't make sense. We are adults. Adults who are looking at this and thinking, oh, it says baby on. I think they're missing the point there. A lot of people are also saying, and I really do agree, it's actually kind of gross to keep reposting or stitching these videos with kids in order to get views. And that's what she does, because when you have a look at a lot of her content, her most popular content, the one that gets the most views, goes slightly viral, all feature young kids doing makeup or doing skincare. I guess you can say it's a form of rage baiting on her behalf. And people aren't comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with that. I think it's very different showing a child with a skin condition with their eyes blurred out, which is the kind of content you'd expect to see from a dermatologist, versus a kid having fun on the internet who shouldn't be on the internet. And even though she said shame and glow recipe, you're still putting this kid in the public eye and kind of shaming her. But there is another reason she likes to repost these kids, and it's because she has her own line of kids cosmetics. And let me tell you, the products actually look very nice. I was looking at the cleanser and the moisturizer, which are the only two products, and I was like, these actually look very, very nice. And I don't bring this up to shame her for doing that. I actually think it's really important to get this message out there. And if you have a skincare brand that kids can play around with and can use safely, then get that shit out there. It's great. Make these bottles pink though. Get some inspiration from Glow Recipe. But I bring this up because people are over it. People are over blaming Drunk Elephant, over blaming Glow Recipe, etc. for these kids using skincare. So whilst Dr. Jeffy is out here pointing fingers and shaming Glow Recipe for existing and using a common word to describe travel-friendly versions of their best-selling products, her comments are filled with people saying, no, shame on you, first of all, for stitching this child. She shouldn't even be on the internet. Let's not draw more attention to her. It's not the brand's issues anymore. It's not Sephora staff's issue. It's the parents. And amen to that, really. And as I mentioned, to be on TikTok at such a young age, as of filming this video, you have to be 13 or above to be on TikTok. She looks so young. I do not think she is 30. I believe she's 11. I don't know how I got that. Maybe it's because I didn't have social media at that age, mainly because it wasn't invented, but it's so young. It's so young. I think the takeaway from this is stop stitching kids on TikTok in order to demonstrate your point, taking advantage of their little faces for views. It's gross, blur their faces out. Professionals can make their point without rage baiting. As I mentioned, beauty, lifestyle, clothing brand Revolve has the internet and influencers divided. Literally. That's a really clever intro when you hear what I'm about to talk about. So I actually hadn't heard of Revolve before this, but they call themselves the next generation fashion retailer that targets millennials and Jay-Z. And as I mentioned, they concentrate on everything from beauty, lifestyle, clothing. They recently held an event at a music festival called Stagecoach, which I never heard of. Again, I'm not that well cultured, but this focuses mainly on country music. Listen, I really enjoy country music. I do not want to have this argument. No country music slander. No, honestly, tell me how you feel about country music. I don't get the hate for it. I feel like it's really good at transporting you somewhere, you know? As with all music festivals, brands take advantage of these festivals and they send influencers in their name, get them accommodation with their logo everywhere, or they just hold an event at these music festivals and invite everyone along. Revolve this year co-hosted an after party and it went viral after TikToker Reagan Kersey posted a video offended by a couple signs at the influencer event.
I am leaving the after party because of this sign. Over 1 million followers enter here. Under 1 million followers enter here. That's so weird to me. Like, what? Like, I get like exclusivity and shit, but like we're not celebs, like normal ass people. I don't know. That was really weird to me. I'm leaving. Probably never gonna get into any of their parties now, but.
And good for her. It's very nice to see an influencer with over 1 million followers who didn't see this as an opportunity to gloat or act like she was better than other influencers. And the comments also support her on her decision to leave the party, because honestly, I would do the same thing. If this is what I saw, I'd be like, this is weird. Like, what's wrong with you? I don't want to be here. And because of this video, according to her comments, people are like, I'm following you now. I got so much respect for you. Thank you for being normal. Thank you for not being like a typical influencer. However, always not as it seems. As I mentioned, this after party was co-hosted. It was co-hosted by a streetwear brand called Pizza Slime. This is a brand that's actually really popular amongst celebrities, and their website is great. It's really interesting. It's very reminiscent of like the early 2000s, and their About Us basically tells you everything you need to know about who this brand are, their ethos, and their kind of sense of humor. They say Pizza Slime is a creative project by two idiot savants who help you fulfill your innate need to disappoint your parents. We did shrooms and made this deck to try and explain Pizza Slime. Hopefully it helps. As I mentioned, they are a streetwear brand known for such slogans as "Straight Guys for Lana," "Stop Looking at My Dick," "Does anyone know how to cancel a Hulu prescription?" and my personal favorite, "Stop doing ketamine, there are literally horses who need to relax." And at this Revolve event, Pizza Slime had put up signs everywhere, including these two influencer follower signs. And according to Pizza Slime's TikTok, both signs actually led to the exact same place. And on their TikTok, Pizza Slime posted a picture or a video of another poster they had up that just said pee pee poo poo. So it's obviously that the signs were their idea of a joke, their sense of humor. And I have two key thoughts here. I'm not surprised influencers or anyone in the real world believe this. I'm not surprised people looked at those two signs and took them at face value, because this happens. This is just a physical representation of how the industry works. It's just a little shocking to see it put in such obvious words and terms, you know, on a sign that people over a certain threshold of subscribers are treated in a different way. On the other side of the argument of this, if I'm invited to an event, whatever kind of event it is, I'm gonna look at who the brands are that are holding it. Because what if I don't want to be affiliated with that brand? What if I'm like, I don't know, what if it's fucking like Revolution Beauty and like Euphoria, for example? I don't want to be there. I do think influencers have the responsibility to make sure they know where they're going, who's in charge, who are the brands sponsoring that event, because they're naturally going to be taking pictures, they're naturally going to be advertising this brand whether they like it or not, simply by being there. Had these influencers seen Pizza Slime was behind this, who Pizza Slime are as a brand, even read the free deck that they put on their website, they would have just waved this off as a silly joke. But again, totally understand why they thought that this was a real situation. Is there finally a ban on makeup wipes? Kind of. This is another like the EU are banning retinol kind of thing. Not quite. So the UK are finally putting a complete ban to makeup wipes containing plastic. I say complete, they backtrack a little bit. This was announced on the 22nd of April, with the legislation expected to go through early this year, like in the next couple months. They say before summer. And then once it's announced, brands have 18 months to make this transition. Gov.uk say the reason for this ban and the fast tracking is because wet wipes containing plastic break down into microplastics over time, which research shows can be harmful to human health and disrupt our ecosystems. With a recent survey showing an average of 20 wet wipes per 100 meters of beach surveyed across the UK. That's actually really bad. Once in the water environment, wet wipes containing plastic can accumulate biological and chemical pollutants, increasing the risk of harm to animals and humans who encounter them. Now, many brands here in the UK anyway have already stopped using plastics in their wet wipes. A lot of them advertise themselves as plastic free, biodegradable, compostable. A lot of adverts show these wipes melting away in water. They can still contain microplastics that way, but you know, a lot of brands are making changes ahead of bans that they know are inevitable. Luke Emery, who's plastics and packaging director at Aldi. Oh, you all know Aldi, right? We all have Aldi now, I think. And the removal of plastic from Aldi wet wipes 2 years ago has been positive for our customers and the environment. They say it has removed an estimated 7,000 tons of unnecessary plastic from the system and has been welcomed by Aldi shoppers. We support the introduction of this new legislation and the positive impact it will have for everyone. However, I mentioned they backtrack a little bit. The gov.uk article explains that this is kind of more of a suggestion, like this doesn't ban the manufacturing of wipes with plastics in, mainly because the government response here actually sets out some exemptions. They say to ensure that wet wipes containing plastic remain available where there is no alternative, where they are basically needed, for example, for medical disinfectant purposes, with the government reviewing the need for these exemptions regularly. Understandable, right? I think when it comes to like these green issues, these eco issues, a lot of the mindset of the consumers or the general public is like, it's all or nothing, ban it completely or what's the point? But ban plastic straws. We are aiming for reduction, right? Not a complete ban. We will get there, I hope. Touch wood that we will get there inevitably, but this is a step in the right direction. It's good to see. I'm thinking of making this series a weekly thing because there's always so much news, and by the time I get around to doing it once a month, there's so much news that has gone. So let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Check out the rest of my When Beauty Turns Ugly playlist here. Some general light entertainment here. Let me know what you think about these stories in the comments. Let's chat, let's discourse, and I'll see you next time.